Hello, I'm EBX Toycat and welcome back to the second channel video. Today I have some more Geography of Toycat for you all. It's everyone's favorite second channel series where I talk about geography and the world and stuff. And today I figured I would talk about something which, kind of goes down to the minutiae of geography and world facts and stuff. But it's something I was very curious about because I wanted to know what are the two closest capital cities in the world. And depending on how you look this up online, you get a whole bunch of different answers because people use different methodologies. And that really confused me. I was like, why is there not just one fixed answer to this question? So what I figured I'd do is I'd dig into it myself, and yeah, depending on which countries you exclude and include, you kind of get different answers, and that sounds confusing till we get straight into it. So I figured, let's explain why there's a bunch of answers, and also, let's explain the closest capital cities in the world. So hopefully you do all enjoy this video about capitals, hopefully you learn something about countries that are close by, and capitals which are close by, or at the very least, maybe you just learn right now that the reason a capital city is a capital is because it's usually where the seat of government for a particular place is held, which, I guess the first one we're going to go into here is kind of an exception to that, because it's a very tiny country, in fact the smallest country in the world, because the smallest gap between two capital cities is 0 kilometers between the Vatican City and Rome. So if you haven't heard of the Vatican City before, it is the smallest country in the world. It's a micro country and it's literally this big. It's entirely surrounded by Rome, and the reason it exists is because that's where the Pope is. It gets a whole bunch more complicated with like Mussolinians. Basically what you want to know is it is its own country for reasons that are fun, and yeah, because the fact that the Vatican City is its own little micro country, it means the distance between the capital of the Vatican City, which is the Vatican City, and Rome, which is the capital city of Italy, as you might know because Romans and stuff, but yeah, basically the distance between these two cities is 0 kilometers. So yeah, it's a really fun question to answer when you're like that, because oh yeah, how close are they together? Well, they're literally next to each other. You could have 1 foot in the Vatican City and 1 foot in Rome, and you wouldn't even have to lose one of your feet like you would for every other capital. So yeah, fun fact about the two closest capitals, it's the Vatican City and Rome. But you might be like, well, how about we exclude countries that have 0, because that's not fair. The Vatican City, it's a micro country, and if you want to exclude it for all those reasons, what are the next closest capitals? Well, it's not necessarily quite a easy, fun, great answer that you want to visit to, because it is to do with the island of Cyprus. So if you haven't heard of Cyprus, or Northern Cyprus, or the disputes thereof, basically, there is a big dispute as to who owns the northern half of Cyprus. Turkey says it's, Turkey, or it's the northern side. Basically, they're very closely aligned countries, but Turkey's the only one on favor of Northern Cyprus. Everyone else says, whoa, what happened there, dude? And that's the really short version. So, Nicosia is the capital of Cyprus, and Northern Nicosia is the capital of North Cyprus. And because there is technically a non-zero gap because of the UN buffer zone, think of it like a DMZ, because there is this non-zero gap between the two, they're the two closest capitals of two separate countries. But then you might be like, well, Toycat, how about we exclude countries which, are kind of disputed countries? Because only Turkey is on board with Northern Cyprus, everyone else in the world is a bit like, can you give that back at some point? Instead, let's talk about countries which are definitely distinct political entities. Okay, if you want to be like that, then the next country is to do with the Congo. So, if you haven't heard of the Congo before, it was referred to as Zaire for quite some time, and before that, it was the Belgian Congo, and it's actually two separate countries, because there's the Republic of Congo, and there's the Democratic Republic of Congo. So that's really confusing, and there's reasons for that, and I know they're deep and complex, and for the people that live there, it's really important. So I'll just say that yes, they are separate countries, and there's kind of tensions between the two, but some fun facts about the DR Congo, because it's the bigger one. It's actually the biggest French-speaking nation in the world, and also, fun fact about the country, is it's the only, I guess, overseas thing from the Belgian Empire, because my favorite thing to look at is if you look up the maps of all the biggest empires in the world, like the British Empire or the Swedish Empire or like the French Empire, if you compare that to the map of the Belgian Empire, it just makes me laugh. It's like, we had one country one time, so sorry anyone from Belgium, but you didn't do a very good job at empires, which I guess is almost a good thing in today's world. Anyway, so yeah, the DR Congo and Republic of Congo, very close by countries, as you can see, because they used to be one, and as a result of that, their capital, not as a result, but coincidentally, their capitals are very close by. So Brazzaville and Kinshasa, actually, fully enough, because they're both Congo with Republic and off in there, they're actually referred to generally as Brazzaville Congo and Kinshasa, I can't pronounce that, Kinshasa Congo. Basically, these two capitals are very, very close by. However, even though they're close by, and a lot of people try to live and work in, across the two, because again, political tensions between the two, basically it's not so easy to get from one to the other. Again, you literally just have to cross a river to get from one to the other, but it's not quite as easy as that. Generally, most people fly, because again, it's not easy, so they make it so you have to fly. It's one of the shortest commercial flights in the world, and these are two of the closest capitals if you exclude all those other things. But if you're then like, well, even though these are pretty close, and even though people fly it, and it's like a half an hour flight or something like that, what about if we exclude countries that both have the same name? Because, Cyprus, Congo, even though they're different, Can we just be like, how about distinct countries? No one ever gets confused. Well, if you go through all those caveats of like, it has to be non-zero, it has to be very distinct, it has to be like all this and that, then the two closest capitals generally, again, depending on who you want to ask in this one, ends up being Vienna and Bratislava. So these are two capitals I actually visited in the same trip the one time. You might have seen a vlog on this channel, but in case you haven't heard of them, Vienna is the capital of Austria, and Bratislava is the capital of, it's the capital of Slovakia, which is a part of Czechoslovakia. So it wasn't even the closest capitals until 25 years ago. But yeah, fun fact about Vienna and Bratislava is they're both really close by because of the Danube River, because they're both on the Danube River alongside, by the way, Budapest and also the capital of Serbia, Belgrade. There is 4 capitals on this one river, which I think is a really cool fact. And yeah, basically the distance between Bratislava and Vienna, it's something like 35 kilometers. Again, depending on how you measure distances, even that gets messy. But yeah, they're generally considered to be the two closest capitals if you adjust for all those other factors. And even though they're very different places, again, Vienna is Austrian and Bratislava is Czechoslovakian or Slovakian or whatever you want to call it. There's distinct differences, but they are, really close by. And if you are wanting to visit two close by capitals that are all the things I just said, then these are great for that. And since I mentioned while we're here, like, why don't we go through all the other capitals which are close by and worth visiting at the same time, because that's something I quite enjoy. Because again, if you're going somewhere, generally you want to go to the big, or if you like big cities, generally you go to the big cities. Which big cities that are capitals can you go to next to each other? So notably close are Tallinn and Helsinki. Again, I think a good way to tell this is if people fly into one to get to the other, that's a good sign. And people actually fly into Tallinn to take the ferry over to Helsinki because it's so much cheaper than using the massive Helsinki airport. So yeah, that's a fun fact you might not have known about Tallinn and Helsinki. And there's a whole bunch of other ones. Belfast and Dublin are relatively close by. There's a train that takes like 3 hours to connect the two, which I guess it's not that amazingly fast, but still. London and Paris, I mean, again, there's like, you can get like close connections. There's a lot of close by capitals in the world. I believe just down here in Africa, you can see there's Lome and there's Lome and Accra, and also Porto Novo. There's a lot of capitals which are close by, and the reason for that is vast and I guess goes beyond the scope of anything I can say in a geography video. But what I can say is if you're then like, aha, so Slovakia and Austria have two of the closest capital cities, what about the furthest? Again, this is non-verified, this is just like, I eyeballed a map and I tried to work it out based on eyeball distances. As far as I can tell, the furthest distance between two capitals is Greenland's capital, Nuuk, and Reykjavik in Iceland. Or the furthest distance between two close capitals, because otherwise it'd be like Greenland and Australia. But yeah, the furthest distance between two close by capitals is Nuuk and Reykjavik, with almost 1,000 miles between the two. So yeah, there's your fun facts for today's video. Hope you did all enjoy it. I'm gonna go and, I don't know, rest now or something. Have a nice day, everyone. There's other videos coming at some point. I'm going to be really busy on the main channel. So, yeah, this is just a fun little short, I thought it was going to be short anyway, second channel thing that maybe you enjoyed. Because I'm going to go and, I already said this, take a nap. So, have a nice day. Second channel, don't care.